Hey, neighbor. Save up to 20% on classic furniture and decor during Birch Lane's biggest sale on the block, October 26th through 29th. Update your space with made-to-last dining tables, chairs, and more. It's classic style for joyful living. Shop the biggest sale on the block online at birchlane.com.
Coming at you live from Auto Trader, here's New Car Energy.
They're searching inventory. You can make a budget for your wallet to help you succeed. It's smarter car shopping just for
Find
you.
your next ride at autotrader.com, powered by Auto Intelligence.
Hey, hate to do this. Could we reschedule
our morning hike? I was just about to ask the same.
Next week? Yes, it's Dunkin' Original Blend time.
Staying at home with Dunkin'? Don't mind if I do.
The home with Dunkin' is where you want to be.
Tuesday, ID presents a new documentary event.
There's blood all over.
For 23 days in 2002, the DC sniper terrorized the nation.
He decided who lived and who died.
But behind the headlines...
The DC sniper was my ex-husband. My story has never been told.
...was his true motive.
His ex-wife, she was a target.
He could kill her. She would just be another random victim of the DC sniper.
Don't miss Hunted by My Husband, the untold story of the DC sniper. Tuesday at 9 on ID.
Nothing brings us together like Eggland's best eggs. Always so fresh and delicious, plus superior nutrition like 6 times more vitamin D, 10 times more vitamin E, and 25% less saturated fat compared to ordinary eggs. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs. Visit egglandsbest.com to learn more.
Stoveleg Media. Igniting conversation.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. What can I get for you?
Oh, hey, glad to see you. You ever just drive down the road and think, you know what? We haven't had a good serial killer lately. Maybe give me a fresh serial killer.
Up to the second window, and we'll see you next crime.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. I am John here with Jamie. Man, I hate it when I'm interrupted when I'm trying to make my order.
A lot of orders. There's a big line in the True Crime to Go drive-through. I'm out here bringing heists and fun stuff, and you keep killing people on True Crime to Go. I don't know what your problem is.
I don't know, man. I mean, this is modern news, and I think it needs to get out there. I don't know that there's enough yet for it to be a true episode of True Crime Cast. So that's where we are, man.
It's wild, and not too excited about it. We feel like we've been in the Houston area a lot earlier this week talking about...
Well, we're going back to the same city. Katie?
Yeah, Katie. All right.
We're going back, man. So in the murky waters of the Houston Bayou, there have been at least 16 bodies that have been pulled from the city's waterway just this year alone. Now, I did not do research into how many bodies are pulled from the waterway outside of Houston annually, but 16 seems like a lot. So I'm going to say it's more than normal. So there are people who are saying that this is not a coincidence, that many people just haven't fallen in and drowned, that this could be the makings of a current day serial killer. So, but the city and especially the mayor is saying, no, that's not happening. Let's dig into it, and at the end, we'll see what you think.
Yeah, so it starts with the family of Kenneth Cutting Jr., who really insists that this was not an accident and something is going on. He was 22 years old, and he vanished in June of 2024. 3 days later, his body turned up in Buffalo Bayou. No external injuries, no drugs, no clear cause of death. And the autopsy listed his cause and manner of death as undetermined, which I think is good because that leaves it open for future investigation, that it wasn't ruled an accident. And his dad insists that his son didn't fall in. He knew how to swim. Yes, he had been drinking, but he wasn't drunk, according to surveillance videos and people who were with him. And his tox report came back clean. So they insist there was no way this was an accident.
Well, the city mayor, John Whitmire, has publicly dismissed speculation about there being a serial killer, calling the deaths of those 16 that have been found not a new phenomenon. That was his quote. And he attributed them to drug use, alcoholism, and homelessness. But Cutting Jr. was none of those things. He He may have had alcohol, but there were no drugs in his system. He definitely wasn't homeless. Cutting's family calls the statement gaslighting. They point out that their son was neither homeless nor on drugs, and they're not alone. There's another victim, Jade McKenzick, said was a 20-year-old university student, was found days after her disappearance, and her autopsy also listed no external trauma and no drugs. So what's happening in Houston's bayous, and is there a possibility of a serial killer going under the radar?
Yeah, I would think. Yeah, this is tough for me because I certainly feel for these families and I want them to get answers for what happened to their loved ones. At the same time, I think if there was a killer involved here, that there probably would have been external trauma and injuries before they were thrown into the bayou. A lot of times a killer, the act of killing, especially a serial killer, is how they enjoy the murder. I'll just leave it at that. And just pushing people into a bayou or knocking them unconscious and throwing them in just doesn't seem like a thing a killer would enjoy.
Well, and Cutting's dad said that he was a swimmer, so that he doesn't think his son just fell in, because if so, he would have been able to swim to a shore or swim to get help. So let's rewind a little bit and just talk a little bit more about Cutting Jr. So June 28th, 2024, he was last seen at a bar called Pete's Dueling Piano Bar. This is in downtown Houston, and he was last seen on surveillance footage at 11:45 p.m. He was seen on this footage captured leaving the bar, borrowing a phone from someone, making 2 calls, and he was calling his own number because his phone had reportedly been lost. So when he couldn't find it, he stormed off yelling F off to one of his companions and headed towards I-10 East, away from his home there in Katy, Texas. Early the next morning, his wallet, shirt, and phone were later found in possession of his roommates.
That's also odd that those things would not be with him. So that certainly raises suspicion to me.
Sounds like he left them in the car. When he walked off, they just left, and then he was out strolling the streets alone because he was mad at them.
A young 20-something leaves their phone is
yeah, that's weird to me.
It's a red flag to me. Yeah. He was found on July 1st, recovered from the bayou about 1.5 miles upstream from where he was last seen. He was a small guy, weighed just 89 pounds when he was found, but even before that, he was just 115. Again, no trauma, no drugs. He did have orthopedic hardware in his neck. I don't know what that means. The family says they're not sure why.
That's weird. If you had a neck surgery, you would think your parents would be in on that or know about it if they were close. But the medical examiner said that this 22-year-old male showed no apparent traumatic injuries, no serious natural disease, and no commonly abused drugs in his tissues. That closing statement makes me think perhaps he had marijuana in his system, but this says no commonly abused drugs in his tissues. So I don't know. That's I'm not saying there's anything fishy about it, but I don't think it is definitive of he was on no drugs.
16 sounds like a lot of people, and I appreciate the fact that people want answers for their kids and their loved ones, but people fall in that are great swimmers and drown all the time for a variety of reasons. So I don't think the evidence we have shows that he was killed, or especially that there was a serial killer. But I love the fact that they left the manner of death as undetermined so that they can continue to dig in and hopefully find out what really happened.
So yeah, 16. So a lot of these are healthy people with no explained injuries that would have caused their death. So, I mean, what about this river ends in 16 people being found in this little area in a year, and even really less than a year? I mean, is there any logical explanation that you can think of?
I mean, I have a lot of other questions of, is there a part of the river in particular that they're falling in? Are there parts of the river that are especially fast, that are especially high, that are near bridges, that have access where you could just stumble upon it, that people typically go to hang out? There are just so many questions about this river I would love to know. But when it comes down to it, the fact that there were no other external injuries makes it hard for me to believe that somebody killed them and threw them in the water.
Yeah, it's really weird to me, and I would love to get to the bottom of it. There are 15 other people that we could talk about, but do you feel like there's a possibility of a serial killer that is doing this? You said earlier that the no visible signs of trauma makes you apprehensive to say it. I mean, just curious to know if there's any possibility.
I would say no. If I had to give an answer right now that there is not a serial killer, some of these may have had foul play, but I don't think 16 of them were the same person doing this over and over. So, I would say no serial killer, but I really want more investigation to be done. What about you?
I think it's possible. I mean, even if it is homeless people, which is what the mayor said, I mean, what kind of victims do serial killers most often find, right?
People who are less likely to be missed and reported missing.
And it sounds like at least a couple that we know of were seen at bars before they left. So is there a chance that this person is meeting someone in bars and somebody catches his attention and they push him off into the river once they're inebriated? I don't know. I'm just saying that 16 sounds like a lot. And at that point, the city should be worried either about a serial killer or the liability of what area in town is not protected where people are just falling into a river. It seems like either one of those scenarios, the city would be more aware of and looking for efforts to fix whatever problem they have.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we try to get to the bottom of what's happening. Killer, accidents, lack of responsibility of the city. Let's stop people from dying. So thanks, John, go ahead.
Sorry, you would think in today's world, like, there would be a lot of surveillance videos to see where these people came from when they were the closest to the river. You would think that would happen nowadays. I don't think Houston is a place that has like a lot of rural areas without cameras.
One thing is for certain, Houston, we have a problem. Thanks for bringing this to us, John. This has been a crime story in 10 minutes or less.
Would you like crime with that?
You've listened to True Crimecast, distributed by Stoveleg Media. Check out stoveleg.com to find out more about your hosts and to find other podcasts to listen to. Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.